Hey everybody, this is my 20-gallon office tank, and I haven't shot any video of this tank in a little while. I just did a water change last night, and I got the glass all nice and wiped down and cleaned up, and the tank looked nice and pretty again. So I thought we'd shoot a little bit of video and have a little bit of a chat about it. Nothing particularly special going on. I am a little disappointed in my water sprite. I was really hoping I would get a lot of emergent growth, and I just really don't. As soon as it starts to grow up and above the surface, it just turns brown and curls up and dies. And all in all, the whole entire plant, or plants I should say, actually just look like they're going the wrong direction. They don't look like they're thriving at all. The roots are getting pretty small. In fact, now that I'm looking around, I can see a little bit of this sort of black growth. Let's see if I can get that focus there. Some of this black coloration going on my Java window log. Not really sure what that's all about. It's the first time I'm really noticing it now that I'm over here looking at it with a closer eye. So we'll keep an eye on that and see if that's anything I need to worry about. But I think what's going on with the water sprite is that I'm over lighting it. I've got this, I want to say it's a Finex, and this is just a little piece of aluminum foil because that is very bright in my face when I sit at my desk. So this actually just creates a little bit of it actually kind of limits the light to right here at the edge, and then that way it doesn't light up the whole rest of the room and blind me when I'm sitting down. This tank is actually above normal level. I'm standing up now, and it's almost eye level at standing up. So when I'm sitting at my desk, I'm actually looking up at the tank. So, you know, that kind of light that you're looking up at is a little bit obnoxious, and that's why I have that aluminum foil draped over there. But between the light itself and then the aluminum foil focusing and reflecting even more of it down there, this is a really intense light, and I just think it's too much for that water sprite. Water sprite is a species of fern, and therefore it is a low light plant like all fern. So I actually do have this little light. Don't know how well you can see that. This little unit right here. And it's just got a little touch mechanism right there that turns it on. But it is so ridiculously dim. There's no point in even having it there. So let's have a moment. We're going to turn this light out. So that's the blue light. That's the blue and white. That's full brightness. That's as bright as I can get it. And that is both with the blue and white. And then if I hit it again, it turns the blue off and we go to just white, I believe. If I can find wherever the end of it is in the darkness here. Yeah, that's just the white light. So not a lot going on there as far as having this tank lit. That barely accounts for a night light. So I haven't been using that. This light, of course, is the other direction. It's way lot of light. I'm not sure if this light was for a reef tank. I don't believe it was. I think I got the Stingray model, and it is meant for planted tanks, but not for the reef tanks. Reef tanks require really high energy light because of the corals that are in there, whereas tanks like this tank honestly doesn't really even need a lot of light. This doesn't even need planted tank levels of light. This could just use regular old, fish tank or possibly even just if the room was brightly lit or I have it close to a window, would be plenty of light for the kind of plants I have in here. So I don't know if I'm going to change that up or not. I don't have anything really to replace it with. So we'll just have to wait and see. I don't know. There's things I can do. I can hang a screen between the light and the plants. It'll reduce the amount of light, and the tank won't be as brightly lit or as pretty, but it'll shade the water sprite enough that I'll get some good, emergent growth from there. I don't know. Like I said, I'll have to give it some thought and see. It's only been recently that I've started paying attention to it. If you've ever seen the videos of my waterfall tank downstairs, I've got some insane growth going on with my water sprite there, and it's just growing up and out of the water. And then I've got stuff planted up in the waterfall area that's growing like crazy, and I just think that would look really good here. I would love to see some of these fronds coming up and out of the tank and hanging over the edges and just adding some extra texture to the whole environment. I like that sort of interactive environment, the open top tanks with the plants, growing out and into my world, the interface between the aquatic world and the terrestrial world here. And I'm just not getting it with the really, really high amount of light I'm putting over that water sprite. So we'll see. The other thing that I will say I've decided with this tank, and I guess we can throw a little bit of food in there. Everybody's waiting for it. Let me see if I can do this one-handed. Get something going on here. So the other thing that I've been thinking about with this tank is what fish to put in it as sort of a specimen fish, since I took the two pup fish, or the American flag fish, that were in here out. And I don't think I'm going to add any more fish. I kind of like it the way it is. It's already too busy and too crowded with all the little fish. I really need to sort of thin that guppy population down a little bit. And there's maybe 1 or 2 Rasboras in there that could come out. I think I put 20 Rasboras in there, or 15 Rasboras in there. So there's a lot of Rasbora Hets in there. And then, of course, the Guppies have been breeding. And, a few of them make it to adulthood. So slowly but surely my guppy population is increasing. I've got 5 out of the 6 neons that I started with, so that's fine. And I don't have any like little Corydoras or anything on the bottom. I did have a rubber lip pleco in here, but it's been a long time since I've seen it. So I don't know if it's still in here. The tank looks fairly clean, but if you look, say, at that faux cave system back there, it's not scoured clean like I would expect it to be. And this large rock over here is definitely getting some growth and build up on it. And with the rubber lip in the tank, you wouldn't expect to see that. So it's not unlikely that the rubber lip is gone. And I just I just didn't notice it had died in that cave, and either it was slowly devoured or just rotted away. And I just never knew about it. That's not uncommon. I've had that happen many, many times over the years. So I might do something else with the bottom of the tank. Again, add a few Corys, or maybe put another rubber lip or a clown pleco, maybe a bristle nose, something small like that in here. But I think for the specimen fish, I think I'm just going to allow that red-tail shark, that rainbow shark, to be the specimen fish. It's going to get considerably bigger than that as time goes on. In fact, it may very well outgrow this 20-gallon tank. And they can be a little bit fussy and aggressive. It chases the guppies around. No harm done. I'm not too worried about it. It almost seems like it's doing it just for something to do, or in the same sort of instinctual way that a kitten would chase a ball of yarn. It doesn't seem like it really means it. And so I'm not too worried about the safety or well-being of the guppies. They're not being overly stressed. And it seems to ignore the neons altogether. It's only the guppies that it seems to have any kind of an issue with. Not really sure what's going on there. So, all in all, I just don't really see there being any need to put any additional fish in the tank, like a dwarf gourami or something like that. That would be sort of a specimen type fish. I'm just going to allow that shark to be the specimen fish, even though it's not really what I generally think of as a specimen fish. I usually think of something that's a little more stately, a little more out in the open. The shark tends to hide quite a bit. It was waiting for food, and of course it eventually got some, and that's why we've been seeing it out and about swimming around so much. But usually when I look over at the tank, you got to kind of watch the tank for a little while before you see the shark appear. It drifts out of the bushes and then drifts back in, and so, that's okay, but it's not my idea. I think of like an angelfish or the gourami or something that just sort of hangs in the water, and as soon as you walk in the room and glance over, boom, there's your specimen fish, right there in the middle of the tank looking at you. But I don't think I'm going to worry about that in this tank. I just don't think that's necessary. And again, with all of the, little fish I've got going on everywhere, this tank's already really busy enough. So it just sort of, gives your eye something to look for when all of a sudden that shark appears. It's, completely different than what you've been kind of, darting around looking at, going every which way. So there you go. Just a little impromptu look at my office tank. I've not even been down in the basement fish room today except to get the lights turned on this morning, and I don't know how much time I'm going to have to really get anything done other than getting everybody fed tonight. So I thought I would shoot a nice video here of my office tank for once. So there you go. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe. You never know what you're going to get with me. And then don't forget, of course, as I just said, this is my 20-gallon office tank. So thanks again, and I'll see you real soon on the next one.